All right, welcome to CTS Test Prep Flashcards. All right, welcome to CTS Test Prep Flashcards. We're going to start with the orange section, starting with number 1. Steps to take before attempting to troubleshoot. Familiarize yourself with the AV systems and equipment either through scheduled preventative maintenance or before a live event. Ensure availability of project and/or system documentation. Bring appropriate tools and supplies. Understand the warranty and maintenance agreements. Number 2, identifying the problem. What is normal? You must be able to distinguish between normal and abnormal system performance. To accurately assess this, you need a deep understanding of the system's intended operations based on its design and specifications. This knowledge allows you to determine whether any deviations from expected performance indicate a genuine system malfunction or are attributable to user error. Let's do it this way. Number 3. Identifying the problem, asking questions. When was the last time it functioned? Who was using it when it malfunctioned? And what were they doing at the time? How did the malfunction occur? Was it sudden or gradual? Can you replicate the issue? Have there been any changes to other equipment or components related to this system since it last worked properly? Can't find number 3. Let's go to number 4. Identifying the problem. Identifying the problem, elaborating on the symptoms. Is the issue due to a system failure or a device failure? Is it powered on or plugged in? Does it include a fuse or reset button? Is there electrical power reaching the device? Can you reset the system or cycle the power? Selecting a troubleshooting strategy, swapping. Swapping the suspected faulty component with a known good one can effectively troubleshoot issues. Technicians with prior experience in similar systems can often swiftly identify faulty components. For instance, Replacing a malfunctioning small loudspeaker with a known functional one isolates the problem and confirms whether the original loudspeaker is indeed faulty. Selecting a troubleshooting strategy, divide and conquer. Entails systematically splitting a problem or system into halves to isolate the non-functioning portion. Next, divide the identified faulty half further and test to pinpoint the failure point, iterating this process until the root cause of the failure is identified. This method allows for the rapid identification of faulty components in just a few steps. Selecting a troubleshooting strategy. Divide the problem into subsystems. Begin by dividing the subsystem in half to isolate the non-functional portion. Continue dividing the subsystems in half until you pinpoint the source of the issue. Selecting a troubleshooting strategy, signal flow. Begin troubleshooting at one end of the signal path and systematically trace it until you can locate the fault. For audio issues, start from the source, for example, microphone, and trace the signal path to the destination, checking components like cables, device connections, or terminations along the way. Similarly, for video problems, you might start at the output, at the example projector, and trace back through the signal path to the source. I can't see an image, part 1. See if the projector lens cap is on. Inspect the power connections, switches, and buttons. Examine the video connections such as HDMI, DVI, HD15, or HD-Base-T. If a laptop is the image source, ensure it is plugged into a power source. I can't see an image, part 2. Check the display settings if a laptop or notebook computer is the image source. Check the status lights on the projector. Determine if any light is emitting from the projector. If so, confirm if the projector is in standby mode. If not, assess whether the lamp or the projector itself needs replacement. I can't see an image, part 3. Power off and then restart both the source device and projector. Locate the sync or audio image button on the projector and activate it. Substitute the video input cable with the known working cable. Swap out the projector with one that is known to be operational. Replace the source device with one that is compatible and works. There's no sound, part 1. Ensure all components in the system are plugged in and powered on fully, including system phantom power. Gradually increase the audio level. Once the microphone is confirmed to be switched on, speak into it to generate sound. While speaking, gently manipulate the XLR connector attached to the microphone, keeping the microphone and cable stationary. There is no sound, part 2. If you do not notice any change, adjust the microphone cable and listen for differences. Adjust the connector on the opposite end of the cable and listen for any pops, snaps, or fluctuations in the signal, which could indicate a problem with the connector or cable. Still, there's no sound. Part 3. If you still do not detect any change, proceed with the troubleshooting process by replacing one component at a time, starting with the microphone. An effective method to diagnose a faulty microphone is to substitute it with the known working microphone. If the replacement microphone functions properly, the faulty microphone should be sent for repair. Feedback. The high-pitched squealing or howling noise that disrupts the audio signal, which can be frustrating for listeners. Acoustic feedback occurs when sound from a microphone is picked up by a speaker and re-amplified repeatedly, creating a loop of the same tone. Feedback often happens when the audio system volume is too high or when the sound source is positioned too close to the microphone. I hear feedback. Microphones. Choose microphones with the narrowest pattern suitable for the specific application and position them as close as feasible to the sound source that needs amplification. Microphones should be positioned behind and at a distance from the main output of loudspeakers. Users should maintain an optimal distance from the microphone. If the user is too far, they might increase the microphone's gain, which could result in feedback. I hear feedback. Equipment placement. Minimize feedback by strategically placing loudspeakers and utilizing processing equipment. If adjusting loudspeaker placement isn't feasible, then lower the microphone gain or decrease the signal level to the loudspeakers. Once corrected, the effect is immediate, though it may take a few seconds for the feedback loop to subside completely. I hear feedback. Audio-video conferencing. Similarly occurs during both audio and video conferencing sessions. It presents as echoes or other audio issues, which can often be resolved by moving the speaker closer to the microphone, adjusting the microphone's distance from the loudspeaker, or adjusting audio input-output levels. Including echo cancellation and clean feed capabilities in the conferencing system design is often the most effective solution. My control panel is locked up. Touchscreens. Susceptible to damage from misuse, especially when mounted in tabletops where they can be exposed to heavy objects or spills from food and beverages. If it becomes unresponsive, check for damage. Cleaning should be done according to the manufacturer's instructions. Some touchscreens have a screensaver function that puts the screen into a power-saving mode. Simply touching the screen can wake it up and restore functionality. My control panel is locked up. Button panels. Do not include a sleep function. They typically feature indicator lights to show power status and the last pressed button. Misuse, such as pressing buttons forcefully or spilling food or liquids on the panels, can cause damage. Always adhere to the manufacturer's guidelines when cleaning the interface. My video disc won't play. Part 1. Ensure the power is on and the player is plugged in. Check to ensure a disc is inserted. Insert the disc with the label side facing up and the playback surface facing down. Confirm the disc is properly seated in the tray. Visually inspect the DVD Blu-ray disc for any scratches. My video disc won't play. Part 2. If using a non-commercial DVD Blu-ray disc, verify the presenter has confirmed the files were burned correctly and the disc has been tested. Ensure non-commercial discs are not CDs. Verify compatibility of discs made in different countries with the player. Clean the disc, clean the cables. My video disc won't play, Part 3. If using an antenna connection for TV channels, ensure channels 3 or 4 are selected. For projectors, TVs, and various monitors with multiple video inputs, confirm which input the DVD Blu-ray player is connected to. Use the input button or menu to select the correct input. If the player has been in cold air, allow it to acclimate to the environment. My optical disc won't run on my computer, Part 2. If using a non-commercial disc, verify the presenter has ensured the files were burned correctly and the disc has been tested. Inquire about the origin of the disc from the client, as it may not have been finalized properly. Attempt to use the disc on a computer that closely matches the one on which the disc was created. I'm not getting an internet connection, Part 1. Begin by verifying the network to which you are attempting to connect the computer. This process can be more complex than merely plugging it in a cable. Many networks are secured and restrict access or internet connectivity to unauthorized users. Consult with the network administrator to understand how to configure your computer for the network. You might need login credentials, an IP address, or other configuration details. I'm not getting an internet connection, Part 2. Ensure the network cable is plugged into a network wall jack when connecting to a wired network. If the computer has a network interface card, it will typically have small indicator lights near the network jack, RJ45 adapter, or on the card itself. These indicate an active network connection when lit. The user interface usually provides indicators for network connections and for the presence of an operational internet connection. My optical disc won't run on my computer, Part 3. Power down the computer, eject the drive, if removable, and then reinsert it. Refer to the operator's or hardware's manual for the specific computer for detailed instructions. I'm not getting an internet connection, Part 3. A common issue with wireless networks is signal loss, which occurs when the computer is too far from the access point. Additionally, network security can be an obstacle, as many wireless networks require a password. Some users have wireless cards capable of using alternative technologies to access the internet, bypassing network security issues. However, these still require a strong cellular signal to establish a connection. The projector keeps turning off, Part 1. Start by examining the projector's indicator lights. There are usually lights for temperature, lamp status, and power. Refer to the operator's manual to understand what these lights indicate about your projector's status. Many projectors have thermostats that measure the internal air temperature. If it becomes too hot, it will automatically initiate a cool down cycle, and an indicator light will illuminate to show it has overheated. The projector keeps turning off. Part 2. Clean the filters as directed in the operator's manual. Check if the projector's air vents are obstructed. Listen for the projector's cooling fan. Consider environmental factors such as nearby heaters or HVAC outlets. The projector keeps turning off. Part 3. Ensure all safety switches, covers, filters, and cables are securely connected and closed before powering on the projector. If the projector turns on and then abruptly shuts off, check the following. Is the air filter and cover properly clipped into the place? Is the lamp correctly installed in the projector? The projector keeps turning off. Part 4. Is the lamp cover correctly installed? Is the projector case cracked or damaged? How many hours of lamp life remain? Some projectors will alert you when the lamp life is nearing expiration. Has the lamp burnt out? If so, refer to the operator's manual and follow the instructions for replacement. My microphone isn't working. Part 1. If the microphone uses batteries, replace them. In most professional audio systems, wired condenser microphones receive phantom power from the mixer. Activate phantom power in the mixer. Even if it operates on phantom power, it's advisable to replace batteries as they are a common source of failure. Check for a power switch on the microphone and turn it on. My microphone isn't working. Part 2. Verify the mute switches on the microphone or transmitter and ensure they are correctly positioned. Many microphones have delicate diaphragms that, if damaged, can cause buzzing or complete malfunction. Repairing this typically requires replacing the entire microphone capsule, which is not a repair that can be done in the field. My microphone isn't working. Part 3. Wireless microphones transmit to wireless receivers, and both transmitters and receivers must be set to the same frequency. If two microphones transmit on the same frequency, the signals will interfere. If two wireless microphone systems operate close by use similar frequencies, they will also interfere with each other. My microphone isn't working. Part 4. The range of wireless microphones is influenced by both transmitter power and local environmental factors, like structures. If the transmitter and receiver are too far apart, reliable operation may be compromised. Additionally, most wireless microphone transmitters and receivers feature level adjustments that need proper configuration to ensure effective operation without interference with other systems. My microphone isn't working. Part 5. Set the transmitter's power and mute buttons correctly. Position receivers so that their antennas are separated, aligned vertically, and free from large metallic objects. Ensure that the remote antennas are properly connected and that the coaxial cable matches the receiver's input impedance. Verify that the correct output level is selected for your setup. Audio distortion. Any undesired alteration in the sound quality caused by the operation of the audio system. The audio is distorted, overloading. Often causes distortion in the signal path. One common cause is a mismatched signal level, such as driving a -10 dBV input with a +4 dBu output without using a pad. Impedance mismatch can also contribute to this issue. The audio is distorted, frequency and loudness distortion. Frequency distortion occurs when input frequencies are either absent or unevenly reproduced at the output. Loudness distortion can result from audio signals being pre-recorded at higher than normal levels or reproduced at volumes exceeding the system's capacity. The audio is distorted, checking output. Check the output of each device in the system to pinpoint where audible distortion occurs. If distortion is noticeable from the mixer's output, verify and adjust the input gain of the affected channel or channels. Lower the input trim until the distortion is eliminated. If the distortion stems from pre-recorded material, unfortunately, there may be no immediate solution to eliminate it. Maintenance records. Should include the following: description of the problem and actions taken for repair, list of necessary parts and materials, estimated labor required to complete the repair, any follow-up actions that may be necessary. Software utilities for troubleshooting IP networks, ping and tracer route and Windows Tracert. Ping. Test the connectivity of network AV devices by sending packets to the IP addresses. Trace routes and Windows Tracert. A diagnostic tool used to analyze the network path between two devices. Which of the following is the first step in troubleshooting a failure in an AV system? A. Determine the failure points. B. Identify the failure symptoms. C. Determine what components are still operational. D. Review system diagrams to understand signal flow and interconnections. B. The first step when troubleshooting should always be to clearly identify what the systems of failure are. These may guide you to following the steps listed in the other answer choices. A client is concerned that they cannot see an image from the projector. What is the next step after confirming that the projector lens cap is off? Inspect power and video connections. A. Check the status lights. B. Replace the projector lamp. C. Power off and restart both the source device and projector. D. A. Choice A is correct. After confirming that the lens cap is off, you should check all connections to ensure that everything is connected properly. If, for example, the HDMI cable wasn't properly inserted, status lights, choice B, replacing the lamp, choice C, and restarting the source device and projector, choice D, wouldn't solve the issue. When troubleshooting an issue where a client's microphone isn't producing sound, you discover you can hear faint popping and snapping from the connected speaker while adjusting the connector. Which of the following may be the root of the issue? The microphone doesn't have enough power, the microphone is faulty, the connector or cable is faulty, The sound source is too close to the microphone. C. During troubleshooting, if pops or snaps are heard while adjusting the connector, this is a sign of an issue with the connector or cable. When the sound source is too close to the microphone, choice D, high-pitched squealing or howling will be heard, feedback, instead of popping or snapping. The audio is distorted, poor gain structure. Marked by a persistent high-frequency hiss or a cascading waterfall-like sound in the system. It typically arises when mixer inputs are set too low, prompting subsequent processing stages to boost their gains in an effort to compensate. Review all microphone and program source input gains, ensuring they are increased to the maximum level possible without causing distortion or clipping. Network cable tester. Electronic tools used to verify Ethernet cable installations. Depending on the quality, these testers can check for simple continuity, mismatched pairs, and crossed wires. More advanced models can also measure crosstalk and signal attenuation. Software utilities for troubleshooting IP networks, ifconfig and Windows ipconfig and ARP. ifconfig and Windows ipconfig, used to diagnose IP configuration issues. ARP, used to list and manage the mapping between IP addresses and network hardware addresses, MAC addresses. A client is having an issue with a non-commercial DVD not playing. The player is on, plugged in, and the disc is placed correctly in the tray and has no scratches. What is your next step? A. Confirm that the DVD has been burned correctly and tested. B. Clean the disc. C. Verify the disc is compatible with the player. D. Allow the player to acclimate to the environment. Correct choice is A. The next step is to ensure that the DVD has been burned correctly and tested, as it is in a non-commercial DVD. If the DVD wasn't burned correctly, choices B and C would not fix the issues, so they should be tried after this step. Allowing the player to acclimate, choice D only makes sense if the player has been in cold air. My optical disc won't run on my computer. Part 1. Ensure the disc is properly placed in the tray with the data side facing down. Verify there is only one disc in the tray. Ensure the CD, DVD, Blu-ray disc is clean and free of scratches. Check the disc format, as certain formats may not be compatible with certain optical drives. A client is having issues with their projector repeatedly turning off. After inspecting the indicator lights, you find that the projector is overheating and is turning off to cool itself down. Which of the following is not a recommended step to fix this issue? A. Listen for the projector's cooling fan. B. Move the projector away from nearby heat sources such as heaters. C. Check if the projector's air vents are obstructed. D. Use a cloth to clean the filters. D. While cleaning the filters is recommended, this must be done according to the operator's manual. While a cloth may be recommended for some projectors, for others it may push any dust further into the vents, exacerbating the issue.